Cool. What's up guys, it's Devin here with Make Anything, and I'm finally back with another round of Patreon Pegboard Pixels. And this is a little series where I give my appreciation to the patrons who are donating monthly to help me continue Make Anything 3D printing channel by fulfilling their requests and making these little 3D pen artworks to stick on my pegboard and show off in the background of my videos. It's been a while since my last Pixel video, so I've gotten a lot of new requests, over 70, and I want to get through all of them in this video, but I don't want to bore you, so I'll show you guys the process for some of the bigger ones, and then quickly go through all the rest so that I can get through them. But yeah, it's a lot of work, so let's get right to it. Because I've got so many pixels to get through this time, I went all out and created this Patreon Pegboard Pixel station, which has several pens lined up so that I don't have to swap out colors quite as often. I can just switch pens instead and I don't waste time purging out filaments. So I've got those, then I've got all my pixels ready to go, I've got my little station for drawing, and then I've got all the filament that I could possibly need. So with that all set up, let's go ahead and get started with this first request from Robert, who asked me to draw a dragon. So I've done a dragon before, and this time I decided to do a more close-up detailed version of a dragon. So you can see I'm sketching things out with a pencil first to make sure that I get a nice accurate drawing. And now I'm going to go ahead and use this gold filament to draw the scales. And you'll notice I'm drawing with this back and forth motion, which helps give me a texture more like the dragon scales that I'm trying to create here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill those all the way up to the neck. Then I'll go ahead and draw the head, and I'm going to build that up a few extra layers. That way it creates this sense of depth in front of the neck. And then I'll finish that up and start filling in the wings themselves using this purple filament. So we'll just go back and forth with that, and we can be a little messy and kind of have some tears in the wings, as every dragon has been through some action, so it's not going to have pristine wings. And then let's finish this off by filling the eye with a glob of white plastic and then a red iris on top of that. Alright, there's the dragon. I actually like how it looks on the white background, so I'm just gonna leave it. And I think it looks really cool, although it's a bit more elegant than intimidating. Anyways, next up we've got an extra large pixel, because this is for my all-time largest donor on Patreon, and that is Giovanni from Switzerland. His request was just a big Swiss flag, but with such a large pixel, I decided to elaborate a bit. So I'm gonna have that flag waving in front of the scene of the Swiss Alps. So I'll sketch that all out with my pencil once again, and then we can go ahead and start working kind of from the center out. So I'll start with the white cross in the center of the flag, and I'll outline that first, and then go back and forth filling it in. From there I'm gonna work my way out and start filling in the flag, which is just a solid red. As I'm filling this in, I'm going to follow the contour of the flag. That way the texture of the plastic actually adds detail to the drawing and kind of simulates the movement of the flag. So I'll just go ahead and fill all of that in, and then we'll go ahead and do the flagpole in silver. With the foreground done, we're going to switch to gray filament and start working on the background here with these giant mountains in the distance. And you can see once again, I'm using the direction that I'm drawing to add detail to these mountains. We'll go over those mountains with some white to add snow coverage and just add detail overall. Now it's time to fill in the blue sky, and we've also got a lake here up front, so we'll go ahead and use that same blue for the water as well as the sky. And this is just a matter of being very patient and carefully going back and forth, filling in all of this space, a lot like a 3D printer does. Alright, there's our sky, and since this pixel is so large we can add some more detail with some clouds in the background as well. We'll finish things off with some hills in front of these mountains, and that's it. We just gotta pop off the pixel, and there it is. I really like this technique of the pen strokes following the contours of whatever I'm drawing, and being able to add detail like that since the pen itself isn't so detailed. And you're gonna see me using that same technique in this pixel as well, which is a drawing of Kirby that was requested by Andy. If you're unfamiliar, Kirby is a Nintendo character, And he's known for riding around on his star, so I'm gonna draw that scene. And Kirby's body is basically this big pink sphere, so I'm gonna go ahead and start building that up and really getting that spherical shape. So because this is a 3D pen, I can actually have it popping off the pixel a bit and really create a sense of depth, because I've got all these arms and legs that are gonna be crowded together. And I'm gonna use depth to make them stand apart and make sense. So I'll put that foot in front, but then I'll also build up this hand and build up the body some more so that that is sticking out the most. And then we get a good sense of the body shape of Kirby. Once I've got the general body shape down, we can go ahead and add the little details to the face. So I'll put those eyes in there and add all the different colors he's got, shades of blue and white highlights. And there we go, we've got his face. Next, we'll draw that yellow star that he's riding on, and I'll try to keep that nice and shallow, that way it looks like he's on top of it. And I'll just get all those little corners that are peeking out so that you can tell it's a star. And we'll finish things off by coloring in the whole background with this really cool seafoam green that I think works really well with the rest of the colors. Here's our finished Kirby, and I think it came out really great. I really like that 2.5 dimensional effect that I got from building up a lot of plastic for the body. Next up, we've got the request of Lael, which is his hometown monument, the Befroi de Betin. This large tower in the center of his city that plays a melody every 15 minutes, and it stands among a lot of other interesting architecture, which I'll put in the background. This belfry is actually pretty complicated, so I sketched out a kind of simplified version, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start filling it in, starting with this brown filament. So I'll get a good outline of the tower, and then I'll use the brown to fill in certain parts of it, and outline it again to really distinguish all the separate parts. I'll also start coloring in the background buildings while I've got that brown loaded, and then I'm gonna switch to this gray and start adding some other elements onto the building. Now let's switch to silver to add yet some more details, and we'll go ahead and continue adding to the surroundings as well, and we'll smush a little gold accent right there in the middle for the clock. Now we'll go ahead and use some red and another red to start filling in the different background pieces, and just some white as well to finish off the details, black to do the dark doors and windows, and finally we can go ahead and fill in the sky in the background with this nice light blue. And I'm gonna draw with these wavy lines to add a little more interest to the background. There we go, that was a fun little architectural challenge. Next up, let's look at a totally different request from Juan. And Juan is actually attempting to break the record for the loudest whip crack. So naturally, he asked me to draw a bullwhip. I'll go ahead and trace that out with some brown filament, and then I'm gonna start filling in the background. And to make things interesting, I'm using this thermochromatic filament here from 3Dissimo, which is orange in room temperature, but when it's heated up, it turns this bright yellow color. So I'll just go ahead and fill in that whole background with this steady back and forth motion to try to keep it as clean as possible. And I'll add a few more flourishes with this glittery filament, as well as some bright red lines coming out from the tip of that whip to signal a really loud crack. Here's what it looks like right after I finish. And here you can see it a few minutes later after it's cooled down and turned orange. Alright, so those were my bigger pixels for my bigger supporters on Patreon, but I also had a lot of smaller ones to get through, so let's take a quick look through all of those. Here we've got a Gengar smile requested by Yazi. And here's a cat face with a mustache from Lulu. Imran requested this Maneki Neko, or fortune cat, and Matt asked for this peace sign. Here's a pine tree for Quentin, and for Griffin, this outline of Idaho. Jacob asked for this panda surrounded by bamboo, and for Jay, this infinity symbol. Everett asked for his initials in blue, and since he's a Lego fan, I just put it on top of a Lego. And Michael asked me to draw this swimmer diving off of a swim block. Chris requested this pi symbol on top of as many digits of pi as I could fit. And here we've got yet another dragon for Marie. James asked for this American Airlines aircraft. And for Dalen, this Zorua Pokemon. Here's a map of New Zealand for Gaming Squirrel. And Catbug asked for the Scottish flag. Here's a headshot of Bill the Cat for Dingo Boy. And a green frog for Remy. Valerie asked me to draw this pink bunny logo she came up with, And for John, who's an optician, I drew these glasses. Kyle requested this blue spirit mask from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Jonathan wanted the logo for his YouTube channel, Maker Tales. Here's the transgender pride flag for Alexis, and Ariel challenged me to draw the logo for his favorite soccer team, Maccabi Haifa FC from Israel. This is Tux the Linux Penguin for Justin, and here we've got Buzz Lightyear's jetpack for Brandon. John asked for the Form Labs logo, and Mighty Jabba, of course, asked for Jabba the Hutt. What else with that name? Studio Dink wanted no! And Ethan asked for a croissant en bleu. This mug of piping hot black coffee is for Molly, and here's a parachute for Noam. For Michael, some flip-flops, and for Randon, some Aquanet hairspray. Chris wanted this Homestruck logo, and Patrick wanted a Batman mask. Scott asked for the Deathly Hallows, and for Minas, here's an alien. Eve requested this Handi-chan's logo, and Reagan wanted a 3D printer. For Daniel, a DNA strand, and Florian gets this BB-8. Baptiste asked for Saturn, and Jeff said it was my choice, so I drew this light bulb, the universal symbol for inspiration. Toby wanted Shrek carrying BB-8 into the sunset, but that's just unrealistic. And here's my version of Lion-O of Thundercats for Andrew. Maddie asked for a tricolor corgi, came out super cute. And for Avi, we've got another 3D printer. Alex requested this glow-in-the-dark jellyfish, and Michael wanted a Minecraft grass block. This little heart carving is for Brian, and a lizard wizard for Brandon. Chad asked for a cactus, and Creep wanted this parrot. Taha requested Dave the Minion, and here's another cat for Fanny. Nicole asked for this acoustic guitar, and Gamma wanted the Dutch flag. Here's a tardigrade for Ian, and for Davlin, the symbol from his company logo. Kobe wanted the logo from his robotics team, and Roy wanted the logo for Bitcoin. This little Vulcan salute is for Eliza Gloom, and Peter said it was my choice, so I drew this orange to represent my home county in California. Megan asked for Winter the Dolphin, and finally for Anders, we've got the Watchman clock logo. So there we have it, a ton of new pixels completed for the pegboard, and now the satisfying part of putting them all up. Alright guys, that's it for this video. That was an insane amount of work, but look at this big chunk of pixels we've added to the wall. I'm super excited, and I'm starting to believe that I might actually be able to fill this whole wall with pixels if I just keep getting support from my patrons. So a big thank you to everyone who's supporting my channel, especially those of you who are donating money to Make Anything on Patreon. You're helping me continue make videos month after month. If you want to help my channel and help fill up this pixel board, please consider supporting Make Anything channel on Patreon. I'll put links here on the video, down in the description, everywhere. Every dollar helps, and it's also just amazing seeing how many people support me. So yeah, that's it for today. Hope you liked it. Until next time, I'm Devin. This is Make Anything. Don't forget to stay inspired.